can finally speak.
Nope.
What I mean when I can speak is because the last year when I was celebrating my birthday, it was like more difficult for me to speak English. But this year I can finally speak, but I can't speak because my throat this month is like being sick. I don't know how to say it. So I can speak like so loud or like in a long time because my throat starts to hurt. What I'm trying to say is because the last year I couldn't like say many things, like be fluent in English. I had to translate and made my transcription and read it and memorize it. But this year finally I feel like I can like say things that I'm feeling in this moment. I'm not saying that it will be like perfect or like, because I know that I make many mistakes. So this year I want to share with you how I felt in my 24th birthday. It was yesterday. So the last year I told you that I couldn't eat many things like bread and things with many sugar because I had stomach constipation and it made me fart a lot. I know for some of you this may sound like fun, like because we are used to like react like when someone farts it's funny and we just start to laugh. So I want you to understand that it's okay that we see it like in the fun way if the person just do it like if the person is not feeling sick. Because in my case my stomach was like full of air, like air in my stomach. I went to the doctor and they told me that my stomach was just full with air. So what I'm trying to say is that I think I'm a little bit nervous and I'm saying things like without sense and order. So first, I have been sick of my throat this whole month. It was like the first day of this month that I started like feel like, how do you say this word? I'm going to translate like tickle in my throat. So the last weeks I was worse. I could not even speak. In the nights I started like to cough a lot. Cough when you I don't know. I started to feel depressed all this month. And when Billie Eilish released her song, like what I was made for, it made me realize many things, that song, because for example you have many dreams but you don't expect to be sick in many ways. So what's my purpose? I was feeling like that way. I started to sleep like in the afternoon, during the day. So I really started to realize that my life was starting to get so depressed. I know that I had depression some years ago, but this time, like in this whole month, because I was sick, I started to feel like different. So now I'm starting to get healthy, and I want you to know that if you are sick, you will start to feel like you can do nothing. And it was so difficult for me to go to the university, and I can't even imagine how it would be if I was in like the middle school or like the high school, because you had to go to the school like during all the day, and you had to go with your friends with many places, and you had a lot of homework. But that time I was not like this level of sick. I started to feel sick of my stomach in those years, but it was not like in the worst way, because I could eat many things with sugar and bread and ice cream with my friends. So I could eat so I'm telling you how I started to get sick. So the next years I started to feel depressed. I was not eating well because I was not eating my breakfast in the morning. To me it was like, I'm not feeling hungry, so I'm not going to eat, or like I'm starting to feel hungry but I'm going to eat some cookies or things like you don't care about your body, or you don't care about like like you don't care about what you are eating. So when I started to get sick, so some days later, and so many problems happened in my life. I couldn't get to a university that I wanted, and all those things made me at the end feel sick in many ways, like get more anxious, get depressed. I went through many things, and it's difficult for me to remember those things. But after those years, I started to get worse of my stomach. I didn't realize that I was going to the bathroom like not often, because you normally go to the bathroom like to make poop. I don't know how to say. You don't think about how often you go, how many days it needs to pass when you go to the bathroom, because I was not eating, so you can imagine that I was not going to the bathroom that often. So it was a whole week. I know this may sound funny for some of you, but for me, like, the days were passing and me, without realizing that I was getting sick, I had stomach constipation. I want to tell you that when you have constipation like for 1 week or maybe for 2 weeks, some of you can imagine like in your stomach, like the things which you eat start to grow this big. But no, it's just get like in a dark color, like with some, I don't know how to explain it. Like, can you imagine? I don't want you to be scared, like I'm not going to the bathroom, so in my stomach, but it's not like that. It just will be like in weird colors, in dark colors, So after those weeks, I started to realize that I was like starting to get so sick. So I went to the doctor and they told me many things. I went to bad doctors. Some of them told me that I needed to eat like all the type of things because I was not eating well. But I knew, because I had already searched on the internet, that if you are sick, sometimes you can just not eat some things that are like that hurts your stomach. Until I went to the right doctor, I told him what I was thinking that happened to me. Like, I told him like the way I'm telling you this. I started, and he was so comprehensive, because when I told one doctor that I was depressed, he just said, just look for some friends or like eat things or go like this. He was like trying to say that he told me like in a way like you are just a teenager that is trying to look for attention or something like that. He told my father some things, but my father at the end comprehended me, because both of us knew that the doctor was not like right in the way he told us that. I know maybe he was trying to help me, but it didn't help me like in the way to get healthy, because he just told me that I needed to eat all type of things. But when I went to the second doctor, he told me like, I told him everything first, and he just told me, what are you doing is just correct. You know what it's happened to you, and you know how to control it. He gave me some pills to drink, but he just told me that what I was thinking, it was the correct way to get healthy, because I told him maybe my stomach is hurt because I'm eating bad and I eat things that is bad for my stomach. Because since when I was kid, I couldn't eat beans. I never knew that why my stomach it's full of air, or like I told my mom, I can go outside because I feel my stomach like it's big and it hurts when I touch it. I didn't realize that it was because of the beans. So I went to the middle school, in the boarding school, and they gave us to eat beans. I really remember that I farted a lot when I was walking among my friends. Some of you may think, oh, you must smell bad at that time, but it didn't smell bad. Just your stomach just feels like it has air. I don't know how to say it. It was so difficult, but I didn't realize that it was like the beginning of start getting sick. So I looked in the internet and I realized that it acts like in boiled water, and I needed to stop eating that. And like things like onion, and can you imagine spicy food? I used to eat a lot of those snacks, so I stopped eating those things and things with a lot of sugar, like bread, because bread was one of my favorite things to eat. So after that time, after I told my doctor all that, and I told him without fear, because I went to many doctors. With the first doctor, I was so shy to talk about these things. So I started to tell him like I was feeling anxious all the time and nervous. And he also did some things with my how do you say this part of the body, with my, so he made a test with my knee, like this part of your feet, and with a small hammer he like started to make some like things like this, and my foot started to like move like this. So he told me that I was so a nervous person, and he asked me if I was like that since I was a kid. And I told him all that things because I also have been the type of person that feels shy and nervous because of some situations. And I also understand that it's maybe part of me, but I told him that I knew that I needed to control it, and I was trying to control that since I was in high school, in the middle school. So I told him that the doctor that I was trying to control all those things, and I needed to know that that was my like the type of illness, that was the type of disease that I had. So I started to control what I was eating, and so I went to a lot of things because I couldn't eat many fruits. Some of you can think, so you just need to eat healthy, and it was not like that because I couldn't eat like many vegetables like tomato, and until some years passed, and at this point of my life I'm feeling better. I don't fart a lot. What I'm trying to say is that I know human body needs to fart. If you are a girl and you think that you can't fart, you are wrong, because you will start to get sick if you keep doing that to your body. I know we can't like fart in public places, but I know that it's normal if you fart sometimes in your bedroom or when you are in the bathroom. I don't want you to think that human body doesn't need like to fart. But when you fart a lot, or when your stomach doesn't stop to fart, it's a bad sign that you're starting to get sick. I don't know if Mr. Beast has the same disease. I have heard that he can't eat many things, and he's like sick of his, how do you say, colon? I don't know how to say. I want you to know that many people is already sick. I don't know what's the type of thing that causes this type of disease, but you need to be careful, and you need to know, and you must learn how to know when you have this type of disease, because some people just keep eating many things, and maybe their stomach or their colon start to get worse. So when you are sick like this, you need to eat well, like eat your breakfast, never skip a food, and stop to eat many things with sugar or with many salts, those things that we all know that it's bad for our body for some reason, but we never believed when we were like in school, because in school they always told us that this is bad and fruits and vegetables are good for your body. So at this point I can eat many vegetables, because at that point of my life I couldn't eat vegetables because I was already sick. So if you are healthy and you can eat vegetables, because if you can eat a lot of things with sugar, you can eat some ice cream or drink many things and nothing happens to your body, that means that you're healthy. And you must like eat other things when you eat those things, because you know that if you keep it in that way, maybe you can get sick like me. Since when I was a kid, I got sick of many things among of my brothers, because I was the only one that got sick in many ways. Like of my eyes, I had those small things that I went to the doctor and they took it. It hurt. It didn't hurt, but at that time I was like in school with one eye like this, and then of my ear, I remember that I had an ear that started to bleed. I never knew why it was that, so I just remember that my mom was cleaning my ear and it was a little bit of blood. But and what other type? My hair, no, I had other type of in my finger. I don't know if I already showed you this, but I had those small like bubbles in my finger. I had one big, and I don't know if if it's because I was anxious or it was because of my stomach reaction. I don't know. So and what other thing? I am sick of in many ways. Some parts of my body like are just strange. Even the small hair in my face sometimes start to get like, I don't know. I think my body is like, it's just something is not working good in my body. In the case of my brothers, they never get sick. So what I'm trying to say is that I know now that life is beautiful and you can do many things. It doesn't matter if you are not working in the work you wanted. Like in my case, I didn't become a doctor. I didn't go in the university, even if I was the best student of my class. Then I realized that I liked languages and I started to learn English. Why, some of you may ask? Because I like music in English. But that helped me to discover that being an English teacher is also a great job, because now I will enjoy it if I start to work, because I want to play with my students and play some music and make them sing in English and help them to pronounce. So that's how I discovered that you can be depressed because you're not doing something that you wanted when you were a kid. There are a lot of options. You can stop. Even if I'm a teacher now, I can study other things. I'm working in the coffee plantation with my father, and it's really fun. Like the way you live in the forest for some weeks. And that's how I know that you can like be just chasing one dream. You must look for other options, and maybe later that work will lead you to your other dream. For example, if you always wanted to like play guitar, but you didn't have money, you didn't have a guitar, but you started to, for example, you also like playing football and you start to play football and they pay you a little bit, so you can buy a guitar and start to do both things at the same time. You know, one thing helps the other to get what you want. So in these next days I will start to upload many videos about health, about education, about how to learn about life, you know. So yesterday I woke up late and it was the parade was close to my house, so I had to get ready fast. The day of the parade was in the day of my birthday, so I started also to remember that when I was getting ready to sleep, I used to put my shoes and my socks and my t-shirt and my pants like to be like I needed everything to be there on my table. So the next day I just had to wake up and just pick everything because I was an anxious person. That made me remember how I felt. So in the case of my brothers, I remember that some of them were asking to my mom, "Where's my sock?" or "I can't find this thing," and they were running. I know that it's also part of how you grew up, and it's also okay to be that type of person, because as I am telling you, it's bad to like try to be perfect, because you will become an anxious person, and being anxious in the extreme way, it's bad for your health. I think that I was celebrating yesterday, or like that I was remembering, and I'm not that way of sick anymore. Like I couldn't eat bread and candies, and because if you start to get sick, it will affect the way you live. You will have difficulties to go out with your friends, and if you are working, can you imagine that you can't wake up in the morning because your stomach will start to feel full with air? There are many places or situations that you can't just have a normal life, because you will have diarrhea and stomach constipation, or you will start to fart a lot. So I want you to be careful. I want you to take care of yourself, and if you are young, or if you are healthy, or even if you are sick, you must start to take care of yourself now, because that will make you live more in a longer time, like more years. Because I don't know, I want to try many things. I want to learn many languages. Now I'm trying to learn Japanese. I used to try to learn Russian and Korean and Chinese and Japanese, but I realized that it was a lot of work. And this year I just started to learn Japanese. I don't know if I would start to make videos like in this way, because this is the way that helped me a lot to improve my speaking. I don't know if I will do that in Japanese, because I also enjoy like make videos about my singers, about actors, and and even try to help people with some topics. So I want you to be happy. I'm already 24 years old. I'm feeling old. I'm just kidding. Yesterday was a fun day, and I had a lot of fun. My family went to work in many things, because this week was a celebration in my town. I don't know if you have already watched my other video about my last birthday. So in that video I explain some of those things. So yesterday I had a lot of fun being alone. For some of you, like, it was your birthday while your family, it was not, they were working, and this is the end of my video. But about my stomach, I'm starting to feel to eat a lot of things now. I can't eat onion, not like that much, but I can't eat onion. I really hope that day comes, that day where I can eat a lot of vegetables and enjoy ice creams and eat spicy food, but always remembering that you need to eat healthy. I hope you like my video. Every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days.